This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. It's the morning of fight night. I'm joined by David Haye. Okay, give us an update and kind of just a reflection on the last 12 hours. What's happened?
Very frustrating times, very frustrating times. No, we had a fight, we didn't have a fight, now we've got a fight. We had to bring in the big guns, we had to bring, the voice of reason. Viola, Derek's mother, negotiated all of this and got it over the line. I think she's the only person that Derek really truly listens to, and we had to bring her in, and she had to convince Derek that he needs to do the right thing and the thing that he agreed to do. And here we are, thankfully. I spoke to her about an hour ago and talked to Derek, and he sort of grunted. So it fights on. That's how we. That's it. It's very funny. It's the strangest scenario. I've never been involved with anything like this before, but this is boxing.
It is boxing, and I think more so than boxing, this is Derek. So we're kind of not maybe used to situations like this, but similar situations over the years. There's always something with Derek. So speaking to Derek at 9 o'clock last night, he kind of reluctantly gave a 5-minute interview. I know he didn't really want to talk last night, and I do appreciate him kind of saying something, but at 9 o'clock last night, he informed us that you'd been talking to David Higgins he said in Australia, but we know it was New Zealand. But he said that was the case, but he said that it hadn't been resolved, and I think after the initial weighing, we kind of assumed that this would be resolved within a few hours. It was dragging on until 9 o'clock. So I have heard in the past where yourself or whoever has had to kind of use the mum card in order to tap into Derek, and that's what you did.
It's not the first time. It's not the first time we've had to. I was hoping he'd, see reason and do what we all thought he should do. But sometimes when a fight is close to fight night, sometimes they're a bit wound up and they get to be in a bonnet about something, and they just pick a fight and just will go down with that fight. And I've said it before in another interview, that Derek's personality is such, and his boxing style kind of mimics his personality in a sense that it might not have been the smartest thing, as when he was fighting Carlos Takam, to just stand there taking all those punches in the head, but it worked because he was able to allow Takam to punch himself out in his head and walk out and knock him out. So it's a crazy tactic. No one would have agreed to do that, I'm sure, and I know his team didn't agree that was the game plan, but on fight night he decided just to do what he wanted to do, and it works sometimes, it doesn't work other times, but that's what makes him so sort of unpredictable, and that's why people seem to kind of love or loathe him. You're always going to get some type of excitement, you're always going to get something, you're going to get a news headline of some description from Derek Chisora.
David, a few people suggesting last night that this was a ploy in order to get more money out of Eddie Hearn. Now,
no, I haven't actually. It was never that at all.
Okay,
it wasn't something to. It's a contract. It was signed, and I talked to David Higgins, and he was quite right. So it was one of the sticking points in the contract when we were dealing with it, and Derek agreed. And here we are. We all did what we said we was going to do. So quite rightly, they stood firm on it. And I then obviously heard from Derek's mother this morning. Had a good talk with her, and she convinced me, don't worry, he will be walking to the ring first, and you're not going to have any problems. He will fight. He's trained really hard, and he's not going to mess this up over a ring walk. She said, what does it matter when he comes first or second? I was like, I know.
So, as we said yesterday, that this was honestly one of the most bizarre and ridiculous situations I think we've seen over time. But I think the fact that it has been resolved now. But with Team Parker, I mean, I was hearing that they were saying to you guys, "Well, give us 100 grand then, and he can ring walk second." Was that suggested to you?
No, there was no suggestion of any monetary. I guarantee Derek wouldn't have wanted to pay 100 grand to do that, for damn sure.
I don't blame him, to be honest.
If he felt that strongly about it, yeah. But he just wanted to change the rules.
David, you talk about how frustrating it is, but when something's in a contract, and then when I asked Derek, like, if it's in the contract and that's the situation, you're basically just moving the goalpost. Like, it must be a nightmare. This is what you're dealing with. We don't know kind of on a day-to-day basis if this is the case, but he literally just said, I'm being a dick, but I'm right. But that's what he said to me. In his words, he said, I am being a dick. And I just thought, how do you deal with that?
It's very difficult. It's very difficult. It really is. But I'm glad we got that issue behind us, because we got ourselves a good fight. And I hope this hasn't clouded any of the hype from the fight. I think, you know, Joseph Parker's an amazing athlete, former heavyweight champ. You know, just rewatch his fight with Anthony Joshua to show how good he is. You know, the referee didn't allow him to do his best work on that night. Very frustrating. I'm sure he was frustrated. That was his biggest night to date, and he wasn't allowed to work. And he'll be allowed to work today, believe me. You know, Derek Chisora isn't. The referee's going to let the action flow, and Derek has to get him out of there. If this fight goes long, it's because Joseph Parker's jab has come into play. His world-class jab was come into play, and Derek's got to find a way to safely get past that jab into range and to do some real damage inside, and all the while try not to walk onto that sharp right hand and uppercut that Parker likes to slip through when people try and pressure him. So, you know, Derek's up against it. This is the hardest fight of his life right now. He's 37 years old. He's coming off some good form, although he lost his last fight against Alexander Usyk. You know, I believe it was very good form. He came off a good training camp. You know, we rolled into this one, and you know, he's got it all to do. But, you know, hopefully, you know, he's focused now 100% on the job in hand, and he can go out there and, you know, do something that no one's ever done before, and that's take someone out who's got a granite chin, who's young and former heavyweight champ. You know, on paper it doesn't look good for him. You know, if you look at his record versus Parker's record, but Derek Chisora's got a strange way of sort of ripping up the script from time to time.
Just finally on this, was there any point yesterday between the weigh-in and, I suppose, speaking to Derek's mother, at any point did you genuinely think this fight is in serious danger? Did you actually think that? I actually think he's going now. Did you actually think that?
Okay, yeah, I did. I was like, you know, when I went to sleep last night, I was thinking, how did we get into this situation? How did it get here? But you always got to expect something like that, and it's been eerily quiet, the build up to this fight, comparatively to previous fights Derek's had. So I remember thinking, there's not really been any nothing's really happened yet. You know, it's all been quite amicable. There's not been any, and then all of a sudden, bang! It goes. I'm like, oh, here we go. So.
Do you know what? Just finally, sorry, Dale, I said finally 2 minutes ago, but finally, I always say when people ask me about Derek and go, oh, is that? I go, you're talking about a guy and yourself that had a full-blown, like, violent, physical encounter in the middle of a press. And I had people after that going, oh, that was clearly staged. I'm like, if one thing you know about Derek, you can't make Derek dance to a tune. You can't say to Derek Chisora, and I know this from knowing Derek, and I know you agree with me with this, David, but you can't say to Derek, right, well, I'll tell you what you do. Derek, you walk over there and you say this and you say it, because he'll just tell you to fuck off, mumble language. But Derek isn't one of them people you can control in that way to do anything fight week like that.
Before every sort of press before every press commitment, I always say, have you got anything up your sleeve? You know, you're going to throw a table, you're going to slap someone, you're going to spit some more into someone, you're going to kiss them. Give me a heads up, what are you going to do? Just, you know, he goes, no, I'm not doing nothing. I'm like, you sure? Like, same thing. I said, well, you got away, and what are you going to, you got something planned? You're going to let us know, maybe, you know? No. And then that's it. I'm like, okay, it happened, but it's over now.
It's done. It's done.
It's over.
The sun's shining.
The sun's shining out. It's feeling good. We've got a fight. We've got a great undercard. We've got some amazing fights. Great night of entertainment. Sky Sports box office. Tune in.
Absolutely. David Haye, thank you very much for keeping us updated on this situation. Glad everything's been resolved. Shout out Viola.
Thank you, Viola. The peacemaker comes in and makes it happen. Love it.
No problem. David Haye, thank you very much.